Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the story of an underdog aircraft, plane that was called awkward, overcomplicated, and even the wrong plane for the job. Yet this very same aircraft would go on to achieve the highest kill-to-loss ratio of any American plane in World War II. We're talking about the Grumman TBF Avenger, the beast that avenged Pearl Harbor. So what made the Avenger so special, and why was it so misunderstood at first? To understand that, we need to go back to the late 1930s. The US Navy was flying the Douglas TBD Devastator. It was a decent plane for its time, but by 1939 it was clear that naval aviation was evolving at lightning speed. The Devastator was becoming obsolete. It was slow, had a short range, and was vulnerable to modern fighter aircraft. The Navy needed something better, something tougher, faster, and with a longer reach. They put out a call for a new torpedo bomber. Several companies threw their hats in the ring, but the design that really stood out came from Grumman, led by their legendary chief designer Leroy Grumman. His proposal was ... different. Most planes of the era were designed with simple, elegant lines. Grumman's design, which would become the Avenger, was chunky. It was a big, beefy mid-wing monoplane, and it had one feature that made a lot of people scratch their heads: a complex, hydraulically powered folding wing mechanism. Why was this so overcomplicated? Carrier deck space is one of the most valuable resources in the world. You need to pack as many planes as possible onto a floating airfield. Most planes folded their wings straight back like a bird, but the Avenger used something called the stow wing system. The wings folded back along the fuselage in a unique, compact way, almost like a contortionist. This allowed for significantly more planes to be stored on the carrier. It was a brilliant solution to a very real problem, but it was also mechanically complex, leading some critics to worry about its reliability in the heat of combat. The Avenger wasn't just about a fancy wing-folding mechanism. It was a beast in every sense. It was powered by a massive Wright R2600 twin Cyclone radial engine, giving it the power to carry a 2,000-pound Mark 13 torpedo, or a variety of bombs. For defense, it had a power-operated dorsal turret with a 50 caliber machine gun, a forward-firing gun, and a ventral 30 caliber gun for protection from below. This plane was built like a flying tank. Its rugged construction, a hallmark of Grumman aircraft known as the Grumman Iron Works, meant it could take an incredible amount of punishment and still bring its crew home. The Avenger's combat debut was, to put it mildly, dramatic. On June 4th, 1942, during the Battle of Midway, a detachment of 6 brand-new TBF Avengers took off from Midway Atoll to attack the Japanese fleet. It was their first ever combat mission. Tragically, they were sent in without fighter escort and were swarmed by Japanese Zero fighters. 5 of the 6 Avengers were shot down. Only one managed to make it back, riddled with holes, its gunner killed, and its hydraulics shot out. From this disastrous start, you might think the story of the Avenger was over before it began. But it wasn't the plane's fault. It was a failure of tactics, when used correctly, with proper fighter cover and in coordinated attacks. The Avenger was absolutely lethal, and the Navy learned its lessons quickly. Soon, Avengers were rolling off the production lines and filling the decks of American carriers across the Pacific, and they started to rack up an incredible record. One of their most famous moments came during the Great Marianas Turkey Shoot in 1944, where they played a key role in sinking the Japanese carrier Hayo, but the Avenger's most significant contribution was arguably against submarines. In the Battle of the Atlantic, Avengers flying from escort carriers became the ultimate U-boat hunters. Equipped with radar and depth charges, they could patrol vast stretches of the ocean, relentlessly hunting down German submarines that threatened the vital convoy routes to Britain. Their long range and heavy payload made them perfect for this role. So let's talk about that kill ratio. For every one Avenger lost in combat, Type was credited with sinking dozens of enemy ships, including battleships, carriers, and a huge number of submarines. It was incredibly effective. The pilots came to love the plane for its stability and its toughness. Stories abound of Avengers returning to their carriers with huge chunks of their wings and fuselage missing. That overcomplicated and awkward design proved to be one of the most rugged and reliable war machines of its time. The plane's legacy is undeniable, It was flown by future President George H.W. Bush, who was famously shot down in his Avenger and rescued by a submarine. It served not just with the U.S. Navy, but with the British Royal Navy and other Allied forces. Even after World War II, the Avenger continued to serve for many years in various roles, from anti-submarine warfare to even being used as a water bomber to fight forest fires. The next time you hear about a design being called overcomplicated, remember the Grumman TBF Avenger. It's a powerful lesson that sometimes a complex solution is exactly what's needed to solve a complex problem. What started as an awkward-looking plane with a strange wing-folding mechanism became a war-winning legend, proving all the initial doubters wrong and earning its place as one of the greatest combat aircraft in history. What do you think about the Avenger? Are there other underdog aircraft you'd like us to cover? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more stories from aviation history. See you in the next one.